A man walks along the streets on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, heading toward the intersection of Broad Street and Wall Street. Holding his hand and keeping pace is his 9-year-old grandson. Young Daniel Frischberg is about to get a first-hand look at the New York Stock Exchange. He doesn't realize it yet, but his destiny is to be a major player in the world of finance. What he's learned over nearly 50 years, he'll teach you today, and it's all free of charge.
There's a billionaire locked inside you. The key to freedom is information, the kind of information you find here on the Money Man Report. Now, here's the Money Man. Here's Dan Frischberg.
Hello again, everybody. I'm Dan Frischberg, and this is the Money Man Report. Our mission is to make you rich. Now, everybody says they want to get rich, but a lot of them are actually lying to themselves because they don't follow through on all the things they committed to, and they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe they can have what they want in life. They just don't know how to make things that they want happen. Now, the truth is, getting rich is something you can do over a very short period of time, but you got to have the right focus, and you only need a few years. I'm getting near my 80th birthday, and I've learned a lot about it. I've made millions, I've made mistakes, I've started over, I've done it again, and I can tell you now, a big part of the formula, it's mostly about developing smart financial habits, smart mental habits, smart life habits, and applying patience, brains, and discipline. So, does this mean everybody who works with me is going to get rich? Here's the easy common sense answer. If getting rich is as easy as I say it is, and if I've shared these secrets with my audience and my readers millions of times, millions of people over all these years, why are there so few rich people in the world? Well, even more compelling is the question, in the most productive place that has ever existed on planet Earth, why does this brilliant economy produce so few rich people? Now, of course, picking smart investments is crucial. But then step number 2 is buying them at the right time. And just as important, number 3 is getting the right terms. That's the part that rich people focus on, and everybody else is oblivious about it. Negotiating the right terms with the right amount of leverage is the formula. Now remember, you're a financial athlete. This is the key part that lets the rich guys consolidate their wealth. Think of this step as the part that only the big boys and girls pay attention to. It's not only boys, it's girls too, by the way. Athletes just don't practice baseball or football. Just as an important part of their game is eating good food, exercising, working out, and making sure they get all the vitamins they need. Now, this is how you stay healthy. And developing smart financial habits is how you get rich. You combine it with brains, patience, and discipline. The pro athlete knows making himself strong and healthy is as big a part of the game as making a good pass. Maybe it's bigger. The pro investor knows getting the right deal and getting the most power out of his resources is as big a part of the game as picking the right stock. Maybe bigger. And yet, remember all the great athletes in school? Where did they all go? All those great players in high school, why aren't they in the major leagues? Why aren't they playing on TV? Now, the answer is, the part most of us are missing is the brain part. This workbook is your roadmap, and all you have to do is follow this path to your destiny. And the first thing I learned, and it took me half a century to learn it, is that the trick is to identify what's going to get you to your objective. And then actually do it, not just dream about it, actually do it step by step. Now, how are you going to do it step by step? You're going to identify the steps, and then you're going to commit yourself to actually doing them. You know, our species is built to live on planet Earth, and this is a very nice place We've got a lot of cool stuff, but there's only so much of everything. Our species has always been made up of a lot of regular people, some poor people, and a very few rich people. Obviously, there isn't enough stuff on this planet for a lot of rich people. But this is not about making everybody rich. This is about making you rich. It's about making you one of the very few. Now, I don't need you to believe that you can have all this. What you have to do is commit yourself to having it. Believing comes later. Now, all those people that never get rich, what makes them different from the people who do get rich? It's action and commitment. That's what's rare. And if you're like most people, and most animals for that matter, you're thinking a lot about how you feel. When you're bored, you want to get out of here. When you're sleepy, you want to get some sleep. 40 years ago, I learned from the beautiful Alicia, who happened to be the one in a million people born with this skill. I was 40 years old, and I realized what I care most about was how I felt. When I found my business courses at NYU to be boring, I took history and English courses instead at the liberal arts school. It was much more fun. It was very nice, but it didn't get me the credit I needed to get an advanced degree and to get into law school. I never got to go to law school. Now, I went to a great acting school in New York City, and my teacher was the great character actor, William Hickey. I was part of the drama of Mice and Men, and Hickey took me aside one day, and he said, "You need to go to Hollywood. You can make it." Well, to me, this was a completely new idea, and I never thought about it before. But he said, when you get there, it's not going to be easy to get a job. There's a lot of very talented and very beautiful people there, and they're all wanting it to make it in the movies, he said. And you're going to have some kind of a lousy job, like working in a drugstore or a gas station, and you're going to keep applying and keep on trying, and eventually you're going to get a break and get some little bit part, and somebody with an eye for talent will spot you, and that's going to be the beginning for you. He said, what I'm telling you is you have to have the charisma to make it. Well, it felt really good to have him tell me that, but when I thought about what he said I was going to have to go through, I imagined what it was going to feel like, and I just didn't want to do it. So I worked on doing things that would pay better right then. And what drove me, what I cared about, was always how I felt. When I was bored, I'd get out of there. When I wasn't having fun, I would go do something else that was fun. When I wasn't having fun, I would go do something else that was fun. Well, what I didn't know back then was that the people who make it, who move themselves to a higher level, know how to focus on what they have decided to do rather than thinking about themselves and how they felt. The people who accomplish big things, who make it through law school, who become heart surgeons, who become screen stars, they're people who have focused on what they have decided to do rather than thinking about how they feel. You've heard all your life how money isn't everything, and so have I. And I know it's true, but I can tell you for a fact, it's a lot easier to feel good with money than without it. And it's easier to have fun with money than without it. And it's a lot easier to make more money with money than without it. So our mission is to make you rich. And I know for a fact from my own experience, this stuff works. So let's get started. You can walk anywhere you like today, and you can go to your car and drive 300 miles across the country, but it all starts with one step. Move one of your feet forward, then put the other one in front of that one, and you are on your way. You can build a company from scratch, you know that. You can spend your entire life building a huge business, and it can make you famous and rich. Bernie Marcus did it with his idea for Home Depot. Ken Langone joined in and got him the money. Well, that's a great way to do it. But I'm going to show you a much easier way right now. Let's think of a business that you didn't start. It's already out there. It has momentum. It has buildings. It has people. It's growing. And because of the magic of our capitalist system that's been the envy of the world for hundreds of years, you can invest money in it and you can buy a piece of it. Now, if you were in Mexico or China, you might end up with nothing because they lied to you or they cheated you. The brilliance of America is we invent systems, but then we make them work. But you can invest in a company where you don't know anybody, but they're getting audited, policed, and you can count on the fact that what you learn about them is true. And when you buy a share, it's real and it represents a specific share. It's totally enforceable. You can count on, take to the bank, as they say, everything you've learned about how much money they make, what they do. So we're going to go through several steps that have always worked. And they should be common knowledge, but nobody around you is thinking this way. Every billionaire in America is thinking this way, but nobody else you know. So step one, think of an organized public company that you rely on. You live your life as you do now without that company. I'm typing on a computer and running Windows by Microsoft. I look things up in Google 3 times a day. And not only do you and I both rely on these businesses, but so do a growing number of people all over the world. I mean, millions. Think of a business like that right now. I built a couple of good businesses in my life, but none of them was as good a business as the one you just wrote down. And I'll bet your business isn't as good either. So let me tell you one of my secrets. A couple of real businesses I started and built personally. I used the money I made on the public companies you're learning about now to make my business as big and successful as I wanted it to be. I loved my own original business, but it was a lot easier and more fun when I didn't need the money. Okay, so question number one. What public business is essential to you to live the life you want to live right now? I gave you a couple of examples. Think of one yourself right now. And remember, our mission is to make you rich. And I'm showing you what the people who already made themselves rich know how to do. And everybody around you doesn't know how to do it. Now, here's the most interesting part of this to me. We just talked about a couple of the best, most profitable companies in the world, companies that you do business with every day, and companies that have made me thousands and thousands of dollars in my own investments. And yet a lot of people listening to this are saying to themselves, knowing about Microsoft and Google and listening to this program isn't going to make me rich. A lot of them are absolutely right. You know why? Because that little voice in their brain that's been holding them back all their lives is doing it again. Now, it's good that a lot of people's brains are holding them back because our world, our species, doesn't have room for millions of rich people. My mission isn't to make everybody rich. My mission is to make you rich. And that means getting your brain out of the way. So to review, the first part of letting the stock market and the best businesses in the world make you rich is identifying the right investment. You're going to learn all the parts of this that billionaires and millionaires use every day. And part one is, does the company do something that a growing number of people in the world cannot do without? And that's only number one, but it's essential. Now, what's stopping most of my listeners is their own brain. And in the next program, we're going to cover step 2 of picking the right stock and understanding how your conscious and unconscious mind work to create the life you want or to stop you from getting the life you want. Learning that is the key. And our mission is to make you rich. So if you really want to learn a lot and fast, click on the QR code right now. And if you're on audio, go to themoneyman.com.
You've been listening to the sound of your money growing. This has been the Money Man Report with your host, radio and TV money man Dan Frischberg.